This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. You dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're broadcasting from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains, 2 hours. There's a link to your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here. Converging threats are confronted daily by our instructors. I'm Vincent Finelli. And if you'd like to call us, we'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. Trevor's engineering the broadcast. Dr. Joel Wallach is with us. Dead doctors don't lie. Welcome, Dr. Joel Wallach.
Well, thank you so much, Vincent. Always appreciate your hospitality.
So, Dr. Wallach, you live at Delta Airlines, don't you?
I live on Delta Airlines, that's true. I actually give 300 lectures a year, and so I'm part of your army. Appreciate you.
Hey, Dr. Wallach, it's always delightful being on the air with you and being at the meetups with you, and also being at the Get Prepared Expo with you. And you have an unbelievable schedule. And I'd like to share the story about something that you mentioned to me. And I've told the story on the air before, but it bears repeating because I believe there's some people who might benefit from this. I mentioned to you that I prepare for the broadcast. I'm behind the screens multiple hours per day, preparing for the broadcast, during the broadcast, after the broadcast. I'm talking about computer screens. And I have 4 of them in the studio with me. And I have them as pushed away as far as I can get them without them falling off the edge of this big desk that I'm on. And I mentioned to you my eyes started burning, and I'd have to close my eyes because they burn. And I mentioned this a couple of years ago to you at a meetup, and you said, I can fix that. and I kind of smiled like, really? And you said, yeah, I can fix that. So you said de-stress, take de-stress, 2 capsules twice a day. And I have been since that time. And I'm here to report that my eyes don't burn after being behind those screens. Dr. Wallach, is that something that you see over and over again? Is it rare that it works?
Well, no, it's not rare. You have to appreciate, Vincent, that all tissues in the body of all vertebrates, whether you're a hummingbird or an alligator or a human being or an elephant, they all require 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, just to give our genes and our DNA and RNA and our telomeres, little end caps on our chromosomes, everything they need to maximize our ability for longevity and repair and maintenance. We all have tremendous potential, but we'll never attain that potential, whether it's for our function of the eyes, the brain, the heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidneys, muscles. If we don't give it the raw materials, it's kind of like having a Lamborghini that can that can go 300,000 miles. They change the oil every 1,000 miles, use premium gasoline. But let's say you're a Scotchman and you're a little cheapo and you say, well, I'm not going to spend all that money on oil every 1,000 miles. I'll just put 6 quarts of Texas dirt in there because everybody knows there's some oil in Texas dirt. That car's not going to go 300,000 miles. It probably won't go the distance the tank of gas should carry it. And so the same thing is true with us. If we just eat well, you wind up with things beginning to break down. And a piano player, it's his fingers that'll break down first. For somebody who's spackling the ceiling, it's going to be their neck and their shoulders that break down first. For somebody that's putting on flooring and finishing cement, it's going to be their knees and their back. And for people who use computer screens, guess what, Vincent? It's going to be their eyes that break down first because it's putting out the most effort just to try to maintain itself under these conditions. And so when you give your body the raw materials and stay away from the bad stuff, the human being can withstand an enormous amount of pressure from all directions. So thank you for the great testimony.
Well, it's absolutely true, Dr. Wallach, and I've been using it. and I use it every day. And one of the secrets to taking supplements, I think, is to have them in the kitchen, not in a cabinet, out in a basket somewhere. So if you have multiple supplements that you take, you put them in a basket so that you remember to take them, rather than have them be in that cabinet that you don't see. Out of sight, out of mind is what I'm saying. So in our household, the supplements are in a basket. And I was in the kitchen just before the broadcast. I had my supplements. I brought the bottle of de-stress up here into the studio with me. Studio's on the second floor. And just so I could just remind myself to talk about how important I think de-stress is. Now, this is not a commercial. This is literally, I'm saying that this absolutely positively works. So my mom's on it, Mrs. Finelli's on it, and and you met my family, so you know who we are.
Yes, lovely family. You've done a great job. Your wife has done a great job. And if I may, I want to throw in one more thing about de-stress.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the most common cause of heart death in adults in the United States is congestive heart failure. Of course, doctors like to put people on digitalis and diuretics and for sort of maintenance until that won't hold you anymore, and then they want to do a heart transplant. Well, you take de-stress. People don't know this. Doctors don't even know this. Congestive heart failure, Vincent, is a deficiency of a single vitamin. You're getting several thousand times the minimum daily requirement of that vitamin in de-stress. So if you take de-stress, like you're taking 2 capsules twice a day, you're getting many thousands of times the minimum daily requirement of that one vitamin. The odds of you getting congestive heart failure is 0.
Mm-hmm. And what if you have congestive heart failure? And so many people have it. Literally, so many people seem to have it. People in their 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, as I say, it's the most common cause of heart death in adults, older people. And again, it was discovered in 1742 by a Japanese naval surgeon. It's caused by deficiency of a single vitamin. And I don't care if you're 102 years old, you take this. I've had cardiologists take patients who are on the heart transplant list. They're on 27 prescription drugs. They're being put on dialysis. All this stuff is going on. 100 pounds overweight. And in 5 days' time, on the 90 essential nutrients plus extra de-stress because of that one vitamin, the doctors freaked out because they had to take them off of all 27 prescription drugs, took them off the heart transplant list, and declared them normal after 3 years of being on the transplant list in just 5 days. We do this literally hundreds and hundreds of times a year.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the supplement facts on the bottle of de-stress. What is that particular vitamin that you're talking about that's in de-stress that is so important to those with CHF?
Well, it's the basic one. It's called thiamine B1, vitamin B1. And the congestive heart failure is a deficiency of thiamine vitamin B1. It's the terminal event of a B1 deficiency called beriberi. Now, if you want to have some fun, Vincent, go around and ask general practitioners, MDs, ask cardiologists, ask dietitians and nutritionists in America if they've ever seen or heard of beriberi. And they say, oh, yeah, that's an old-timey disease, and we don't have that in America anymore. You find it in third world countries. What turns out is one of the most common diseases in America. Okay, beriberi. There's all kinds of symptoms. You get bowel symptoms, you get skin symptoms, you get dementia, called Korsakoff syndrome or Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Looks exactly like Alzheimer's disease. I've gotten people who are diagnosed, Vincent, with Alzheimer's disease by 3 of the very best neurological clinics in the state of North Carolina, including the medical school, and neurologists. They diagnosed this guy, and for 8 years he went downhill treating him for Alzheimer's disease, and we put him on the same program that you would for congestive heart failure. And in 5 days, his sister, who was giving him the program in the hospice, because they wouldn't do it, so she went there every day. She took a leave of absence from her job for 6 months. I'll give my brother 6 months. I can't go any longer than that. So she comes on the 5th day to the hospice, and her brother's not there. And she says, oh, he's died. Where's my brother? And they said, oh, he got up this morning, he got dressed, tied his tie perfectly, and went back to work at the bank. And for just 5 days, I've been treating him for 8 years, going downhill, putting him in a hospice for Alzheimer's disease. These are God's true stories, Vincent.
Dr. Wallach, it seems that most people I know who are over 70 will say that, their memory's not quite as good as it was. And they're wondering silently if they have some form of Alzheimer's or dementia. And it seems to me that a lot of us could benefit. I don't know many people who say that they are more healthy now than they have been years ago. However, if you look at what they eat and if you look at their lifestyle, they're wearing out very, very quickly. Can that be reversed?
Oh, absolutely. And, of course, the problem is back before the middle of the 1800s, more people were getting better nutrition than they are now. And the reason is that we were using wood for fuel. We were putting the wood ashes in the gardens. And the wood ashes contain minerals as opposed to just carbon. And then we'd eat the food, the corn and beans and beets and potatoes and tomatoes and okra and whatever we're growing out there. And we got our supplements that way. And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street, New York City, it all changed. We know that, Vincent, because it was a front-page news story in every newspaper in the world because we had to telegraph them, and the story went out. It's the second largest story ever, second only to the story of Jesus when that story came out. And the story was that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street in New York City, on the bluff overlooking the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, Thomas Edison pulled the switch and turned on the first commercial electric generating plant. And within 10 years, every industrialized nation, including and led by America, we've switched from wood as the universal fuel to electricity. And our traditional source of minerals, nutritional minerals that we have been getting for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, went away in a heartbeat. And that's when our downward spiral began. And so we must supplement today because our foods only have 3, 4, 5, 6 minerals in it. Before they used to have 40, 50, 60. And so you must supplement because you cannot get it out of your food anymore because nobody's putting wood ashes in their gardens anymore.
Mm-hmm. And what you're talking about is the trees have deep roots and they bring the minerals from deep within the ground into the tree. Yeah, into the wood of the tree. Then when we burn those trees, we have those minerals in the ashes. Spread those ashes in our gardens, and our gardens produce way more nutritious food and fruit.
You get an A+.
In our orchards. We'll be right back. Dr. Joel Wallach. Dead doctors don't lie.
So you think your basement will save your family? Think again. A separate, certified safe room placed in the basement, properly anchored to the floor, offers the best chance of survival and protection. And the best safe room you can buy is at Missouri Storm Shelters. You saw them at USAPrepares.com Expo. Missouri Storm Shelters has the largest selection of certified storm shelters in the world, tested against winds up to 250 miles per hour. That exceeds the EF5 rating. Missouri Storm Shelters meet or exceed FEMA's 320 and 360 recommended standards, and also NSSA and ICC 500 standards. See Missouri Storm Shelters right here in Nixon, Missouri, or online at MissouriStormShelters.com, or call for pricing and details at 417-725-0055, 417-725-0055. Missouri Storm Shelters, because basements won't save your family.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen bank accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237.
Do good people ever want to call an attorney just to find out if they're right or wrong? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what are you forced to think about first? money. If you could call as often as you wanted and talk as long as you need without a bill, would you call? Worry less and live more with lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com, or call 855-340-SAVE. That's 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Genesis is defined as an origin, creation, or the beginning. Genesis Communications Network began with the mission of providing you with the kind of compelling content you're listening to now. And at GCNlive.com, you'll find a free archive of our nation's history, narrated by GCN hosts, explored, shared, and passed down to future generations. GCN is the future of talk radio, but we should always strive to learn from our past. Together, we are GCNlive.com. GCN.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
Dr. Joel Wallach's with us, and we're talking about congestive heart failure, and it seems that so many people have it. Dr. Wallach, one of the symptoms of the congestive heart failure seems to be this coughing and this fluid in the chest cavity, and it seems to it's frightening to those who are experiencing it and those around those who are experiencing it. What are the effects of de-stress? And if you're wondering how I'm spelling that, class, it's D-stress, D-stress, the supplement that Dr. Wallach is recommending. So how does this eliminate some of that fluid that's on the lungs of those with congestive heart failure?
Well, that happens as an indirect benefit. So the function of de-stress, of course, is for the metabolic pathways in the heart and the brain that produce normal function of the heart and the brain. And one of the normal functions of the heart, of course, is to circulate blood and maintain fluid balance all over the body and so forth. And when the heart becomes inefficient, you begin to get a buildup of fluid in the lungs themselves. And, of course, this is what causes this constant low-grade cough in people with congestive heart failure. And doctors will usually prescribe a diuretic, a water pill, as some people call them. And, of course, can certainly be life-saving and relieve symptoms, but there's a negative. There's always a downside to any prescription. And diuretics not only get rid of the fluid in the body, the excess fluid in the lungs, it also gets rid of good stuff, your nutrients that you're required for function of everything, including the heart and the brain and so on. And so we actually like what we call herbal rainforest, which has 14 cleansing herbs and the 78 plant minerals called herbal rainforest, and it has a slight diuretic property, a slight laxative property because of the cleansing herbs. But it helps relieve excess fluid in the body. And so we're very, very proud to have that. And, of course, if people are not on medication, but most people with congestive heart failure, like this one gentleman I told you about, the guy who got taken off the heart transplant list in just 5 days, he was on 27 prescription drugs. So I'd be very reluctant to give him a lot of herbs which might potentiate some of those drugs and cause problems of overdosing and that kind of stuff. So I don't like to give any herbs for people who are on any heart drugs, let alone 27. And so, but the herbal rainforest is very safe. And of course, even if they're 200 pounds, I'd only give them like a quarter of a dose, like a couple of teaspoons, maybe a half an ounce I wouldn't even give them a full ounce, just a half an ounce at bedtime with a glass of water, and they're going to find that they get this diuretic effect. And if they're on diuretics, and they're not getting the results, oftentimes it means they're not absorbing. That old adage, Vincent, you are what you eat, is not necessarily true, because if you have a malabsorption problem from lack of stomach acid, or you have a gluten intolerance, you've lost the surface of your small intestine because of gluten intolerance, you can't absorb medication. People say, I can take 10 of these water pills and it doesn't help. So that means they're not absorbing even the medicine. And so it's imperative that I'll give you a little signal too. If they're absorbing people's urine, if they're taking these supplements, particularly de-stress, if they're taking de-stress, their urine should be a fluorescent golden yellow, like the color of fluorescent, but only lemon skin yellow. And if they're not absorbing, they can take a whole bottle of de-stress and their urine will remain clear. And that tells you immediately they're not absorbing. So you can learn a lot of things just by knowing what to look for.
Dr. Wallach, I look at some of our animals, and, when people come to the farmhouse, they may look at some of our cats and some of our dogs and say, wow, that cat looks really, really healthy, or the dogs look really healthy. And they're basing that on the outward appearance of the coat and the happiness, if you will, of those animals. When we eat food and it doesn't have the nutrition we need, will that affect our outward appearance, what we look like to others when we're in view, our face, our skin, our disposition? Are those
absolutely
affected? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, Vincent. Everything going on in the brain that would be called a disease, depression, manic depression, bipolar disease, anxiety, panic attacks, ADD, ADHD, autism, all nutritional deficiencies. Your expression, how you carry your body, how you sit, how you walk, how you act, your energy when you talk, perception, it all tells you you're healthy or not healthy.
There you go. Dr. Joel Wallach's with us, and when we come back, I'm going to ask him about our seminar, the expo.
Yeah?
Did you want to see me, sir?
Well, I did, but now that I do, I'm not so sure.
Sir?
Johnson, I got a mission for you that could change your life.
Oh, good, sir.
It involves traveling halfway around the world without so much as half a clue of where you're going or what you're going to do when you get there.
Situation normal, sir?
Uh-huh. Well, I'll be leading this mission, Johnson, so I'll be telling you what to do.
You, sir?
That's right, Johnson, and I say first things first.
Oh, good plan, sir.
And what I say is first is food. Always remember that, Johnson. Food is a big deal.
Sir, my brother-in-law can give us a really good deal on some surplus MREs.
Johnson, if you've got half a brain and that empty head of yours, you'll call the freeze-dry guy like I did. That food is better for you, it rehydrates faster, and it's good, Johnson, and it keeps for up to 30 years.
Will we be gone that long, sir?
I hope not. Now get your supplies organized and meet me down to the pier at dawn on Sunday. We sail at sunrise.
Yes, sir.
This adventure is brought to you by the Freeze-Dry Guy. Call 866-404-3663 or visit freezedryguy.com.
Hey, guess what? They've got some great deals for Valentine's Day at guns80.com. They're calling it the Sweetheart Special. Guns80.com has lowered the price way down to $400 up until Valentine's Day. Order your Ghost AR-15 now. Tell your sweetheart that this is the right gift at the right time. Buy one for yourself. Buy one for your sweetheart, too. Your sweetheart will thank you for being so tuned into his or her needs. Get a brand new Ghost AR-15 right now for $400. Heck, buy two. His and hers. Go to guns80.com or call and ask for the Sweetheart Deal. Love is in the air at guns80.com. Call now, 844-2GUNS80. That's 844-248-6780. It's a sweetheart of a deal. Actually, it's a steal at $400, so call guns80.com at 844-2GUNS80. But hurry, supplies are limited. Call 844-2GUNS80 or get your Ghost AR-15 today at guns80.com on the web.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Class, Dr. Joel Wallach's with us, and we're talking about supplements, and we've been zeroing in on congestive heart failure. It seems to be, and dementia. It seems to be everywhere. Well, Dr. Wallach is going to be at the Get Prepared Expo on March 29th. Yep, he's going to be at the Get Prepared Expo on March 29th. He's been at many of our Get Prepared Expos and meetups, and he's always a big hit. And by the way, you can hear Dr. Wallach outside the seminar room. Really, you can. And he gives a riveting presentation. And he's going to be presenting multiple times on March 29th in Lebanon, Missouri. Dr. Joel Wallach, what will we be learning in your seminars at the Get Prepared Expo?
Well, we're going to learn how to be prepared. And, of course, prevention when it comes to health is the greatest thing. For instance, I've been taking the 90 essential nutrients. Essentially what you take, the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids. For 68 years, I have not been sick in 68 years. In a couple of months I'll be turning 76, and I do not have any health problems. I've never been on a prescription drug. Have not been to a doctor in 68 years. I admit I do have a health file. It only has one piece of paper, and it's my birth certificate. Everybody in America can be like me medically, but they're going to have to be obsessive, avoid the bad things, and do take the good things. And I'm going to cover common diseases that are totally preventable and totally reversible. Everything from arthritis, bone-to-bone arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. We'll cover all 5 dementias: vascular dementia, Korsakoff syndrome, Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, B12 deficiency, dementia, and Alzheimer's disease, the big one. Totally preventable, totally reversible. Big lie that it's genetic. It's just absolutely not that way. Every kind of heart disease you can think of is preventable. Almost all are reversible through nutrition. And we'll talk about kidney failure, how to get off of dialysis very quickly, even if you've been on it for years. We'll talk about how to prevent muscle injuries, tendon ligament problems, back problems, macular degeneration. I don't care if you've been legally blind for 6, 8, 10 years, it's reversible. And usually 20/20 within 90 days or so. we've done this enough that medical doctors are just standing with their mouth open. And one of them, Vincent, made me a CD because we had a wager. When it came to macular degeneration, the most common type of blindness in adults, and it's a simple nutritional deficiencies, and basically he made me this wager. He said, "I'll apologize in public if you can get 2 out of 12 of my patients who are legally blind with macular degeneration be able to read 20/20 in 90 days." Well, he gave me 27 patients. He said, "Pick your 12." I took all 27. In 90 days, all 27 could read 20/20. Only 2 required glasses to pull that off. 25 didn't even need glasses. And he made me a CD called Seeing is Believing. But that CD, Seeing is Believing, goes into great detail how we were able to get all these people who've been legally blind 6, 8, 10 years from macular degeneration to read 20/20 in 90 days. And we sell millions of those every year because it's something you can do in your own home. You don't have to have a prescription for any of this. It's something you can do yourself. And there's nothing more gratifying, Vincent, than to give somebody their sight back for a few bucks a day.
Mm-hmm. And can you share with us right on this broadcast what those supplements are?
Yes, well, the basic one that everybody needs, whether you're, again, a hummingbird or an alligator or a human being or an elephant, are the 90 essential nutrients. And we've come up with a program we call the Healthy Start Pack, which is essentially what you're doing. It's a basic Healthy Start Pack. We have 2 versions, the original and the 2.0, which is totally drop-dead gluten-free. And it has the Beyond Tangerine. It's a NutriCrystal. It's chemically made the same way we make coffee crystals. And so you just instantize it in water. It has 245 ingredients, including 115 berries, fruits, and vegetables. It has all known vitamins and minerals and amino acids in it. The only thing it does not have is the omega-3s. So the kit, the Healthy Start Pack, it does contain 1 canister of the Beyond Tangerine, 1 bottle of the EFA Pluses, which are the omega-3s, 6s, and 9s, the optimal amounts. And then the various versions, we have the powder and we have the liquid option of the Osteo FX Plus. And we have it with shellfish and without shellfish in it. It's 50% by volume, our unique plant minerals, 78 minerals, and then the other half is the calcium, vitamin D3, and boron and things necessary for your bones. So that's the Healthy Start Pack. And then we have secret sauces, we call them, for over 900 different diseases. If you have diabetes, type 2 diabetes, 90% of the diabetic population will show you how to be able to wean off your medication, go back to normal life. Sometimes it takes as little as 2 days, 2 weeks, certainly within 2 months. Almost everybody who's a type 2 diabetic is able to wean off their medication. Because we learned 70 years ago, Vincent, that type 2 diabetes is not genetic, as your doctor will tell you. Type 2 diabetes is actually a deficiency of a single mineral. We've known it for 70 years, and every endocrinologist, every general practitioner who tells you that diabetes, type 2 diabetes is genetic, should be put in jail for fraud.
Dr. Wallach, as I listened to you say this, what came to my mind was, you know what? We could solve this whole problem if we would just eat right. But it doesn't seem like we can, because the food that most of us purchase at the store, the supermarket, the grocery store, is devoid of the nutrition that we need. So
that's right.
If we could,
Vincent, we're not putting wood ashes back in the soil every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we dammed up the rivers to make more electricity, so we're not getting the silt from the spring floods anymore to plow in every year to renew the minerals. It is impossible. You look at Steve Jobs, who died at age 56, a billionaire, very bright guy, but he believed you could just eat well, and he paid $1,000 a meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, $3,000 a day to get perfect organic food. He paid a top 5-star vegan chef to cook everything for him, but he didn't want to supplement. And so he paid the price. He died at age 56 because he didn't supplement.
Let's talk about, and as you say this, it seems to remind me of irritable bowel syndrome. And what is causing that? Is it the food that we're eating? Is it Is it the genetically modified organisms? What is causing irritable bowel syndrome? Because as far as I can tell, more and more people are suffering from that.
You're absolutely right, Vincent. One of the great things about you is you're a good observer, and you tend to put two and two together. That's part of the survival mechanism. You have to be able to observe what's going on around you. And diseases like celiac disease, appendicitis, diverticulitis, irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, colitis, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, all these are various manifestations, with Crohn's disease being the most severe manifestation of a gluten intolerance. It's when you have a gluten intolerance, you get what's called a contact enteritis. Your intestines look like you've been eating poison ivy for salad. Nobody has a poison ivy allergy, but everybody's intolerant of it. You rub poison ivy on you, the juice has a poison in it, a plant toxin, which causes you to get a contact dermatitis. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats, whether it's in the form of beer or bread or pasta or crackers or cherry pie crust, are mixing wheat flour into gravy to make it thicker, or putting breadcrumbs and cracker crumbs in your meatloaf and meatballs. Any place, even in your dog food or cat food, you're going to get contact with gluten. And 70 to 80% of Americans are gluten intolerant. 70 to 80% of Americans are gluten intolerant, and it just makes customers for the medical system when you eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And people say, well, it's biblical. No, it's not. The Bible always talks about store grain. It doesn't say store wheat. The grain of the day in the Bible days used to be millet, not wheat. Wheat's a relatively new product. We have a problem. Well, the only thing that the GMO has done is make wheat have more yield per acre. In some cases, some genetically modified wheat have less protein in it, have less gluten in it. Instead of having 8, 10, 12% gluten like wild wheat used to have, it might only have 3 or 4% gluten. And the some genetically modified grains have more protein in them, and they're the dangerous ones because they're giving you more gluten than we used to have. And so it's imperative that if people have these problems, they should go gluten-free for 90 days. If they see benefits, stay away from gluten. If they don't see benefit, well, they may or may not be gluten-free. You can't tell. Sometimes you might get problems with your bowels, as we just discussed. You might have eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, or rosacea. You get diagnosed with lupus. That's a gluten problem. You can have, very typically, people might have 8, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30 diseases. Say, my God, that family's got bad genes. I wouldn't let my son marry one of those girls, or I wouldn't let my daughter marry one of those boys. Got too many bad genes. No, they have gluten intolerance. They can't absorb nutrients, and every disease they have, Vincent, is a nutritional deficiency. So we get them on a gluten-free diet, and it's like, it was so remarkable, so dramatic. People who have been in bed dying with 27 prescriptions, they have 8 specialists they go see. They have all these different diseases, and just within days or weeks, they're off all their medication. They don't need their specialists anymore because all the diseases they had were nutritional deficiencies because they couldn't absorb nutrients.
Dr. Wallach, I was in Sam's Club, that great big warehouse store in Springfield, Missouri, and I was in the aisle with Mrs. Finelli, and a man next to us got this great big bag of high gluten flour, white flour, and I asked him what he was going to use that for, and he said, well, he had a bagel company, and he was using that flour to make his bagels. So, according to him, bagels have high gluten flour as the main ingredient. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is many people may not realize that they're getting more gluten when they eat bagels, which they may think are good for them. What's your reaction to that?
Well, you're exactly right. Bagels have a lot of gluten in them because the dough is chewy as opposed to melting in your mouth like bread does, white bread. And also the crust is very, very hard and chewy, and it's because of the high gluten flour. Now, again, you have to appreciate in the Jewish community, which eats bagels, and the people in New York who eats more bagels than people anywhere else in the world, they have certain sets of diseases which doctors tell them are genetic. They're not genetic. They are because they're gluten intolerant, They eat high gluten meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they have these diseases because they don't supplement. Now, I work with billionaires in New York in the clothing industry, in the
safe room you can buy is at Missouri Storm Shelters. You saw them at USAPrepares.com Expo. Missouri Storm Shelters has the largest selection of certified storm shelters in the world, tested against winds up to 250 miles per hour. That exceeds the EF5 rating. Missouri Storm Shelters meet or exceed FEMA's 320 and 360 recommended standards, and also NSSA and ICC 500 standards. See Missouri Storm Shelters right here in Nixa, Missouri, or online at MissouriStormShelters.com, or call for pricing and details at 417-725-0055. 417-725-0055. Missouri Storm Shelters. Because basements won't save your family.
You ever hear about Ghost 80% AR-15 rifle kits? At Guns80.com, they are the 80% specialists, helping to protect our privacy. Look, there are forces out there right now trying to register guns for future confiscation. UN treaties threatening our Second Amendment and our freedom. You need a Ghost AR-15. Get it at Guns80.com. Call 844-2GUNS80. That's 844-248-6780. Own an AR-15 today and keep it a secret. Go to Guns80.com. That's Guns80.com. 844-2GUNS80.
We love that you're passionate about GCN. And whether you're a listener, a business owner, or a radio industry professional, we've redesigned the new GCN newsletter to keep you in the know. Get updates on your favorite GCN shows and hosts. Go to GCNlive.com and click on the banner in the upper left corner. Just for signing up, you're automatically entered for monthly giveaways. Start receiving your newsletter today. The future of talk radio. GCN.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Hi, this is Steve Sanchez, and based on a recent study, it was found that 57 million Americans had legal issues over the last 12 months, but only 60% of those studied sought out the services of a lawyer. Why? In a nutshell, affordability. Well, my friends at Legal Shield have created a solution that can help you not if, but when you need an attorney. For as little as $17 per month, Legal Shield will provide you unlimited access to qualified attorneys at an accomplished law firm for advice and counsel on legal issues, no matter how serious or trivial. For over 40 years and with 1.4 million families across North America, Legal Shield can help you, the loyal GCN listener. Representatives are standing by now to answer your questions, so call them now at 1-855-340-SAVE. That's 1-855-340-7283, or visit them at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com.
Results will vary from case to case.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100-foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Class, Dr. Joel Wallach is with us, and I'll tell you what, those commercials just caught us by surprise, ending the last segment. But Dr. Wallach, you were talking about the Jewish community, some of your friends, associates, and in New York.
Yeah, exactly. Some of my billionaire friends in New York, they're Jewish and they're Jewish businessmen in New York. They're billionaires. And they actually came to me because they found one of my audio cassette tapes in a Dead Doctors Don't Lie in a antique store. And just before they found that audio cassette tape, they'd been told by their doctors they had less than a year to live. They had inoperable aortic aneurysms, 3 inches in diameter, and they're dissecting and falling apart, and there's nothing they can do. They better get their affairs in order. So they just, without me knowing about it, they didn't contact me. They just called up and ordered some of the plant minerals. And within 3 months' time, they were retested, and they found that this inoperable aneurysm was gone. And so, of course, the doctors are freaking out, and so because aneurysms are caused by a deficiency of a single mineral, the breakdown of the elastic fibers in the arteries because of a copper deficiency. And so this guy apparently got enough copper from just the plain minerals, the plant-derived minerals, liquids, and was able to rebuild his aorta. Just something that never happens. And we do this, actually, again, hundreds and hundreds of times a year. But anyway, these billionaires, of course, are Jewish, and they eat a lot of bagels and eat a lot of gluten, pastas and so forth. And their children have many diseases. We're able to go through, change their diets, get rid of their diseases, and we're talking about everything from atrial fibrillation, kidney failure, obesity, and high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, type 2 diabetes. And they all go away. And so their doctors are beginning to really freak out because they're losing these high-end patients who they overcharge because, they're billionaires and they can afford it. And the word is out now, in New York at least. They all get their business partners, their business associates, and all their employees on our programs and get them off the gluten. So people who eat a lot of gluten get a lot of these diseases. People who don't eat gluten, and the Chinese, for instance, Vincent, they live on rice and sweet potatoes in China. 1.6 billion Chinese don't have the diseases we do until they come here. They come to the United States, they get the diseases we do because they begin to eat gluten. They go back to China and eat rice and sweet potatoes again. They don't have any problems anymore. So it's very simple.
Class, if you're interested in pursuing more information about this, or if you'd like to buy some of these supplements, you can go right to our website, usaprepares.com, usaprepares.com, and there's a post that says Dr. Wallach right on page 1, or you can go to USA Prepares Team, USA Prepares, TEAM.com, and it'll take you right to the same page. Dr. Wallach, I talked to my dog before the broadcast, Thomas Jefferson, our English Mastiff. You saw him when you were here at the farm?
Fine guy.
And you recommended that he consume Arthrodex and Glucogel, and he has ever since you've been at the farm, and he is doing great. He's growing. He's now really close to 200 pounds, and when he stands next to the kitchen table, his back is higher than the kitchen table. Not his head. His back is higher than the kitchen table. And so big dogs have special problems, and they consume a lot of food, and Thomas Jefferson is doing so well since he has been on your recommended supplements. And those supplements are Arthrodex and Glucogel, in addition to the dog food that you recommended.
And they should have gluten-free dog food. And dog food comes for weight. You have dog foods formulated for toy dogs under 10 pounds, toy dogs under 20 pounds, medium-sized dogs 30 to 50 pounds, large dogs 50 to 100 pounds, and giant breeds over 100 pounds. And certainly Thomas Jefferson, the Mastiff, needs to be on this gluten-free foods that are over, for giant breeds. The interesting thing is there was a hip dysplasia disease in large dogs. They thought it was genetic. You get them on the Arthrodex and the Glucogel, it all goes away. You don't need to destroy the dogs anymore.
There you go. Dr. Joel Wallach's been with us, and you get a chance to see him at the Get Prepared Expo in March. March 27, 28, and 29 is the expo. Dr. Wallach will be with us on March 29th, Information's on the website. Dr. Joel Wallach, thanks so much for being with us. And if you'd like to consider getting the supplements, USA
God bless
Prepares
you. Thank
Team.
you so much, Vincent.
Thank you. USAPreparesTeam.com. We'll be right back after top of the hour news and commercial announcements.
Worried about getting sick and feeling terrible for days or even weeks? You need Immudyne for a healthy immune system. Why get sick and bother with products that just don't work? For just $1 a day, Immudyne is all natural and safe for all lifestyles. Call 866-257-8668 to buy now before it's too late, before you get sick. Or go to IMMUDYNE.com, Immudyne.com, or call 866-257-8668.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Everyone all set? Cocked, locked. Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. For this hour, Larry Pratt's with us. And Larry Pratt is the executive director of Gun Owners of America. I heard Larry Pratt on shortwave radio many, many, many years ago. And I was so impressed with him that, he and I have contacted over the years, and he's been to the Get Prepared Expo. He's been to the farmhouse. We've had meals together, and Larry Pratt is a really good guy. I'm delighted to be with him, and as a matter of fact, I'm so impressed with Larry Pratt and his organization, Gun Owners of America, that I became a lifetime member. Now, I paid the same amount that everyone else would pay to become a lifetime member. And I saved up for years. And I put money away, and I used that money to become a lifetime member. Why? I'm a gun-carrying guy. I wear a 45 as part of my normal outfit. I wear a 45 on my side almost all the time. And I want to preserve my rights to carry my 45 to defend me and my family. Welcome, Larry Pratt.
Vinny, thank you for such a wonderful introduction.
Well, it's true, isn't it? I mean, didn't I write that check to become a lifetime member?
That's pretty humbling, and I really appreciate it.
Well, Larry, I heard you on shortwave radio, and I was so impressed. And you can join other organizations, but I really think that you're doing an excellent job to protect our gun ownership rights. And, and for me, it's probably a little different. You've been to the farmhouse. You know that we live in the middle of nowhere. And, who am I going to call, Larry? And how long is it going to take for them to get here?
Well,
so
that's
we
the
have
question. You can call all you want. How long is it going to take them? If they happen to be, quote unquote, nearby, maybe it'd only take a half hour.
Yeah, if they're in a hurry. Larry, I have these fond memories of our friends at the farmhouse, and one day before an expo, we were sitting in the dining room. You were there, Mike Ma was there, John Moore, John Stadtmiller. We were just sitting around the dining room, and I just said, just wondering, guys, How many of you were armed? Do you remember that?
I do. And if you'd have said how many are not armed, you'd have probably had no show of hands.
It was so interesting that we're just sitting around at the farmhouse, and there's nobody brandishing, it's just but
and there was no shootout, as I recall.
It's absolutely true.
A perfectly
Larry,
tranquil evening.
It was, and by the way,
everybody was exercising perfect gun control.
Absolutely,
their guns were under control. It was akin to the Wild West, okay? Except, there were no holsters that were visible. And the reason I asked, who was armed was because there was no indication that anyone had a firearm. And think of this as Thanksgiving dinner, okay? It was before the meetup. I'm sorry, before the expo. And, but it wasn't, it wasn't, who has the biggest gun. It was nothing like that. We're just having dinner. So to me, this is all normal. It's normal, we went to a meetup last night, and there were a lot of people who were armed. Probably the highest percentage of armed people in a restaurant in a normal setting than any other event in Springfield, Missouri. And that would be the USA Prepares Monday night meetup. Larry, I'd like to share a couple stories with you. Now, so last night at the meetup, we have a meetup every Monday night, and what I do is I have a monologue where I talk about the news, and we discuss the news that I bring up. That was topic number one last night. And then topic number two was a guy named Bob Estep. And then the third thing was the feature event, which was a movie on fluoride. Well, we never got to fluoride. And the reason we never got to fluoride was because of what happened to one of us, one of USA Prepares students, a guy who is a Sparta, Missouri farmer. He is a meetup member. He's given presentations on Agenda 21 at meetups over the years. He came to the studio when I was broadcasting in downtown Springfield, and he would say, "Hey, we're having a meetup, on Friday night, and it's about the Property Rights Congress, and can you make the announcement?" And I would do that. So I got to know this guy, Bob Estep, over the years, and it's going on 5 years now. Well, here are a couple stories I'd like to share. Now, leading into this, and this all ties together. Now, there's a small rural town in Virginia, near where I lived before moving to Missouri. And this small rural town was a farming community, and the population was about 500. I'm not exaggerating. It was literally 500. The town was 4 square miles, and it was incorporated a little over 100 years ago. Sounds delightful.
Yes. And it was just like, if you think about, some of those Western movies, the town would be just a strip. The road would go through the town, and there'd be businesses on either side. And mostly they were saloons in the Westerns, but in this case, there was a farm supply, a drugstore, a couple gas stations, a pharmacy, some small shops and stores, a general store, and a doctor's office. That was the town of 500 people. Well, up the road a couple miles was a friend of mine who had a trucking company. And I was his consultant, and I helped automate his company, and his company grew, and he got more and more trucks. Well, the way from his trucking company to the main highway the shortcut was through this town. And he would have his guys drive through the town, and the mayor, they got a new mayor of this town, and she decided that, those trucks are racing through town, and she was going to put a stop to it. So she got this part-time cop, gave him a part-time police car, gave him a radar gun, and if you did 26 and a 25, boom, you got a ticket. Well, the businesses were so outraged at this because it was, there was no warnings. Everybody just got tickets. And it was a revenue stream that the town seemed to like.
And obviously there was no need for it. It's just that she was having an adrenaline rush from having authority.
There you go. So here's what happened.
So the farm supply was the first business that you approached as you entered the town from one direction, and he put a sign on his right outside his we'd have sales and things. He would announce,
Top jerk ahead, drive at 25.
Well, that's what he did. He said, Barney's on duty now, stay under 25. Those kinds of things. Well, yeah, it became kind of a joke, made the newspaper. But what really happened is my friend who had the trucking company, his guys started getting so many tickets. And it wasn't like they were racing through town, but if they did 26 in a dump truck, size truck, which is what he had a lot of those, and tractor trailers, they would get fines, and they were huge. So he was a very generous man, and he gave to the volunteer fire department. He sponsored a lot of community events. And he said, you know what? If they're going to do this to me, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to help. I'm not going to help. And he pulled out all the funding, all the events he did, and then he didn't have his trucks go through town. But that cop was still there, and so many people got so many tickets that people skirted the town and went the other direction, the long way, because it was just too risky. Now, the town dried up. Literally, that town dried up, and the doctor's office pulled out. And when that happened, the pharmacy pulled out, the hair cutting places, one of them pulled out, one of the gas stations went under. The town literally dried up. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that is because I wrote a piece at usapreparedness.com, and I'll have to read this. And I spent an hour on the phone with one of my peers, another broadcaster, dissecting this, and I don't think he was all that happy with what I wrote. But here's what it is. It says 29 January 2050 by Vincent Finelli, usapreparedness.com, limited corporation, investigative broadcaster. I'm not traveling through Sparta, Missouri, not patronizing Sparta's businesses, and here's why. Bob Estep was tased with a high-voltage electric stun gun by Sparta, Missouri police officer Andrew Spencer, according to the Sparta, Missouri Police Department staffer I spoke with on the phone today. According to sources, Bob Estep is currently in the hospital as a result of electrical tasing, being pulled out of his truck, and being forced face first to the ground, and other injuries he received from the Sparta, Missouri police officer Andrew Spencer. I spoke with Sparta's mayor Mike Junker on his cell phone, 417-353-9961, and he declined to provide any information as the case is ongoing. Is he hiding something? Sparta staff informed me that charges may be filed against Bob Estep, and that until charges are filed, that they would not discuss the matter. So here's what we've uncovered. Bob Estep is in the hospital as a result of what some call a beating by Sparta, Missouri police officer Andrew Spencer, and that Bob Estep has a heart condition. Sparta, Missouri police say Bob Estep was drunk and had him tested in Christian County for blood alcohol. None was present. The community is outraged and will not tolerate police abuse. Some believe that the entire Sparta town government should be fired at a minimum. The public trust has been breached. Is this retaliation a result of Bob Estep's speaking out against Agenda 21 and is supporting property rights in Missouri? Many believe that is the case. If so, we the people should bring a citizens' grand jury to assume the responsibility to accuse specific individuals in the Sparta, Missouri government of having committed actionable crimes. If you desire more information, you might want to call Sparta's mayor, Mike Junker, on his cell phone, 417-353-9961. If you have any details of the events described, please contact us at usapreparedness.com. So that's what I wrote. Now, when we come back, I'd like to discuss that because what this means is, how do we protect ourselves from police who do that? What do we do? What should our actions be? And are we going to tolerate this, or are we going to stand up and put a stop to it right here, right now? Larry Pratt's with us. I'm Vin Finelli. This is usapreparedness.com.
Yeah?
Did you want to see me, sir?
Well, I did, but now that I do, I'm not so sure.
Sir?
Johnson, I got a mission for you that could change your life.
Oh, good, sir.
It involves traveling halfway around the world without so much as half a clue of where you're going or what you're going to do when you get there.
Situation normal, sir?
Uh-huh. But I'll be leading this mission, Johnson, so I'll be telling you what to do.
You, sir?
That's right, Johnson, and I say first things first.
Oh, good plan, sir.
And what I say is first is food. Always remember that, Johnson. Food is a big deal.
Sir, my brother-in-law can give us a really good deal on some surplus MREs.
Johnson, if you've got half a brain and that empty head of yours, you'll call the freeze-dry guy like I did. That food is better for for you. It rehydrates faster, and it's good, Johnson. And it keeps for up to 30 years.
Will we be gone that long, sir?
I hope not. Now get your supplies organized and meet me down to the pier at dawn on Sunday. We sail at sunrise.
Yes, sir.
This adventure is brought to you by the Freeze Dry Guy. Call 866-404-3663 or visit freezedryguy.com.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hi, this is Larry Smith. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. When the cleaners ruined some special clothing, all they could do was show us a sign that said they weren't responsible. But when they got the letter from one of our Legal Shield attorneys, he promptly gave us a check for $1,152. Worry less and live more with lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com or call 855-340-SAVE. That's 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
Class, Larry Pratt's with us, and we're talking about the situation with Bob Estep, a 68-year-old farmer, a landowner, and he's well known in his community. He has a lot of farmland, so everybody knows who he is in his community. So when he was pulled over, it was clear that he was in a Estep vehicle, okay, one owned by the family. I mean, your license plates are run. Well, anyway, to give you a description of the story, he was traveling and it was dark, and there was a car behind him, pulled up right on him, bright lights on him, and it was blinding Bob Estep. So he adjusted his mirror so that the blinding lights behind him, right behind him, were not preventing him from seeing where he was going. He adjusted his mirror, and as he did that, it's possible that his vehicle moved a little bit. Well, he got pulled over, red and blue lights, to the side of the road, and the spotlight was on him for minutes. So he decided to call 911 because he felt uncomfortable. And when he called 911, he was on the phone with 911, and that's when his truck door was opened by this police officer, and he was tased in his truck. He was told to get out, and he couldn't move. He said he was paralyzed. He had a heart condition.
He couldn't move, and he was yanked out of his truck by this cop. Now, some people think and are saying that Sparta, Missouri has a domestic terrorist. Well, I'm just raising that question. Do you think that's true? What do you call someone who does that to we the people? Larry Pratt, I'm outraged, I'm angry, and we the people are getting together, and we are going to visit Sparta. However, we the people, some of us at the meetup last night are so concerned about this, what has been referred to as terrorism in Sparta, Missouri, that people want to travel in a convoy because they're concerned that they might be singled out by the Sparta Police Department. You know, before we went on the air, Larry Pratt, you already knew about this story, didn't you?
Yes, there was an individual, I think you had informed me, who had somehow gotten around an axle as far away as the Southwest.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, just impressive when these thugs want to double down on somebody. They seem to be able to do pretty much whatever they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so what's going to happen is we the people are getting together and we're going to the next meeting in Sparta. That's Tuesday. That's this Tuesday coming up at 6:30, town council meeting in Sparta. We're going to be there, and we're going to see what they have to say. Now, they may not take any of our questions, but we're going to show up and let them know that this is absolutely unacceptable. So I got criticized for giving out the mayor's phone number.
Oh.
I don't have any problem giving out the mayor's phone number. That's the cell phone number that was...
servant or what? Or is he just the boss man?
Well, I can tell you that that's the number that was given to me by the staff. I was criticized for saying that I'm not traveling through Sparta, Missouri. This is my quote. I'm not traveling through Sparta, Missouri, not patronizing Sparta businesses, and here's why. Now the reason I was criticized, I was told that, and this is not my words, that I'm a leader and that people might follow what I say. Well, I don't think I'm a leader. I just happen to be some guy who's a farmer, and I do things, and I do them in the open. Okay, I don't hide. I'm using my real name. Vincent Finelli is my real name. It's not an alias, as some broadcasters use aliases. Well, I think that what happened to Bob Estep is unacceptable, and I'm not going to Sparta. And why would I? The only thing that I would do is try to investigate this. But in terms of patronizing businesses, in terms of traveling through Sparta for pleasure, or to go to someplace else through Sparta, why would I do that? Why would I subject myself to potential abuses by the Sparta Police Department? And I've got a lot of questions, Larry. Why is it that the police chief has not put this guy on leave? Why has he not said, wait a minute, you did something, you tased this guy, he was not drunk, you put him in the hospital. Why?
And there's no investigation.
Well, there is an investigation right now. The CSPOA has gotten involved. And
good.
Yeah, I was on the phone with them last night. Two of the guys from the CSPOA, and they have 6 investigators working on this. And there's actually another investigator outside of that. So we'll talk more about this when we come back, and defending ourselves.
So you think your basement will save your family? Think again. A separate, certified safe room placed in the basement, properly anchored to the floor, offers the best chance of survival and protection. And the best safe room you can buy is at Missouri Storm Shelters. You saw them at USAPrepares.com Expo. Missouri Storm Shelters has the largest selection of certified storm shelters in the world, tested against winds up to 250 miles per hour. That exceeds the EF5 rating. Missouri Storm Shelters meet or exceed FEMA's 320 and 360 recommended standards, and also NSSA and ICC 500 standards. See Missouri Storm Shelters right here in Nixon, Missouri, or online at MissouriStormShelters.com, or call for pricing and details at 417-725-0055, 417-725-0055. Missouri Storm Shelters, because basements won't save your family.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Hey, guess what? They've got some great deals for Valentine's Day at guns80.com. They're calling it the Sweetheart Special. Guns80.com has lowered the price way down to $400 up until Valentine's Day. Order your Ghost AR-15 now. Tell your sweetheart that this is the right gift at the right time. Buy one for yourself. Buy one for your sweetheart, too. Your sweetheart will thank you for being so tuned into his or her needs. Get a brand new Ghost AR-15 right now for $400. Heck, buy two. His and hers. Go to guns80.com or call and ask for the Sweetheart Deal. Love is in the air at guns80.com. Call now, 844-2GUNS80. That's 844-248-6780. It's a sweetheart of a deal. Actually, it's a steal at $400, so call guns80.com at 844-2GUNS80. But hurry, supplies are limited. Call 844-2GUNS80 or get your Ghost AR-15 today at guns80.com on the web.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Class, Larry Pratt's with us, and we're discussing the Bob Estep situation where he was tased by a Sparta, Missouri town police officer, Andrew Spencer. And we've had it, and we're not taking it anymore. You know, we've had Steve Angle, one of our instructors, who answered the door at just after midnight with his handgun. He held it by the muzzle. The police were there. The police put a gun in his face, told him to drop the gun, beat him up. He ended up spending a couple days in jail, a few days in jail. He ended up being hospitalized. You know, it's unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. I don't think the police needed to respond like this. So anyway, here we have Bob Estep, and he was beat up. He has an enlarged heart, a swollen heart. He spent about 36 hours in the hospital. That was what was reported to me from a very reliable source this morning, just before the broadcast. And now, well, Larry, what would happen if we, the people, walked up to a police cruiser
okay, opened the door and tased a cop sitting in the driver's seat, what would happen?
Yeah, well, we know that. What I was curious is why the cops went to this gentleman's door with their guns drawn. Was he aware that they were doing that? I mean, this is a pretty unusual situation.
Okay, you're talking about Steve Angle. Okay, Steve Angle lives in Hays, Kansas, and he's one of us. He's been to our expos. He comes to the meetup. He stayed at the farm. He's the historian. He takes a lot of pictures at CSPOA events, and he got his doorbell rang at I guess it was around midnight, just after midnight on a Friday night. He looked out the door and he saw it was a cop. So he had his 1911 .45. He grabbed it in his left hand by the muzzle, so the muzzle up. He opened the door with his right hand. The cops put a gun in his face, said, "Drop the gun!" And he just stood there, so they beat him up right inside his own house. Now, why did the cops come? They say they got a 911 call. He said, "I didn't call you guys." They beat him up, threw him down. He's all banged up, bruised up. I've got pictures of it. He ended up going to the hospital. Then they put him in jail for 3 days. And he's facing charges.
Sensible reason for the visit?
They said they got a 911 call. He said, nobody called 911. They said they got a 911 call. And these guys did the equivalent of stalking him for days after he got out of jail. So now he's facing charges for assault on 2 police officers with a deadly weapon. They came to his house. They beat him up inside.
Interfered with their fist with his face.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So now he's got to spend time and money and effort defending himself from these cops. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Bob Estep, because Bob Estep is now facing 4 charges. Now, what in the heck could he be charged with if the cop beats him up? Now, here's the problem I have.
Resisting fist.
Yeah.
Resisting fist.
Yeah. Larry, here's the problem. This guy's traveling along in a pickup truck, and the cops pull him over. His cop pulls him over and beats him up, tases him. And now he has to defend himself against these guys. Now, it appears that when we the people go to court, we are always at a disadvantage. It's really hard to survive court. And what happens with all the money that is spent defending ourselves to keep us from going to prison for something we didn't do because these cops make up things and lie? We talked about it at the meetup last night. But the police are allowed to lie to us, but we're not allowed to lie to them. Attorneys are allowed to lie in court because they're not under oath. We're under oath. We are at a serious disadvantage, and it's unacceptable. So a lot of us are going to Bob Estep's defense. People are patrolling his house to make sure that he is safe and secure, because it's not a comfortable situation for anybody. So Larry, here's the question. So let's say we the people are sitting in our vehicle, and a cop comes up and it looks like he's going to tase us. And we have done absolutely nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. And what do you think about defending ourselves against those police?
Well, if I'm certain that I'm sitting there and have done nothing to provoke, I haven't.
Right.
I'm thinking, gee, did I go through a speed trap unawares? What's the deal? If I'm absolutely certain, then I'm going to defend myself as best I can.
Larry, I'm dancing all around this, but here's what I'm saying. I'll just come out and say it. If a cop is coming at me with a taser, I am going to anticipate reacting. I believe that if a cop is coming at me with a taser of 100,000 volts, 75,000 volts, 50,000 volts, it could kill me. Okay? It can kill anybody.
It could kill anybody.
Right. And I would consider that a threat, a deadly threat against my life. And if I have my 45 and he's got his taser, and he pulls that out, I'm going to react. I am literally going to react. I'm not going to like it, and I know what's going to happen. I'll probably be arrested.
Your whole day. Oh, it's terrible, because even if you save your own physical body, the agony is just beginning.
Yes, and the blue plague has this substance called the blue glue, and these guys stick together. And that's the problem I have with the Sparta, Missouri town government. The problem I have is when I talked to the mayor, he didn't say, Mr. Finelli or Vincent or Vinny, this is a terrible thing. Oh, it's awful. You know, one of our community, one of our citizens, a prominent man got tased by one of our officers. This is something we've got to investigate. This shouldn't happen. No, these guys circled the wagons and there's no information outcoming. Nothing. Now the police chief, why didn't he suspend this guy? Why hasn't he been arrested? Why hasn't this cop been arrested? Why has,
a lot of jurisdictions, Vinny, would suspend him with pay and launch an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That seems to me to be a fair way to start. Because,
that's a good start.
She said, okay, fine, we'll have an investigation. Meanwhile, since the seriousness of the charges are such, you can stay home.
Yes. And, if we want to err on the side of the government, we suspend this guy with pay.
Yeah.
However, but Larry, if we reverse the situation and we tased a cop, do you think that they'd say, listen, you just keep doing, Finelli, just keep doing what you're doing. Go back to your farm. We're going to check it out. Are you kidding? I'd be in the clink, right? I'd be in the clink and the bail would be really high because I would have responded to their threat.
If you weren't in the morgue.
Yeah.
If you weren't in the morgue, you'd be in the clink.
So we the people think that Sparta, Missouri could be the line in the sand where the people get together and say, we've had it. We've absolutely had it. And then maybe, through the result of doing the right thing, having the people show up and demanding that this guy be fired, absolutely fired, and prosecuted with felony charges, as we would be, that maybe the police would say, geez, I better be careful because remember what happened in Sparta?
Exactly.
Remember what happened? Yeah. And remember what happened to Andrew Spencer for tasing a guy needlessly, putting him in the hospital? I mean, Larry, I'm angry. I'm angry about this. Because this should not happen. This is not the country where we grew up. This is not Mayberry RFD anymore. Now, Sparta is like Mayberry. So,
Mayberry would be a walk in the park.
Larry, what do you think we should do to prevent these kinds of things from happening again? Is it communication?
Well, I think you're doing the right thing. When you put light on cockroaches, they go away. And you're putting light, your broadcast, and the other attention that you're able to bring to this. The fact that business may suffer, because if I were driving in your part of the country, the last place I want to go is Sparta. I'll get gas in Bumpus or something like that before I even have to go through Sparta. And I'll go through at 15 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what people were saying at the meetup. Absolutely make sure you don't go 25. You have to go below 25 in Sparta because you will be targeted. So we have, one of the constitutional sheriffs and peace officers is Sheriff Joey Kyle of Christian County. This is in the county where he is sheriff. And the community is asking Joey to do an investigation. And he is. He said he was doing an investigation. And the reports that I got from a very reliable source is that he's taking this very seriously because this is a serious matter. And this cop, Andrew Spencer, can be charged with a felony. And that's what should happen. That's what should happen.
And the reason he can be charged is he's not considered working as an agent of the state if he's acting beyond his authority. They even have a special Latin term for that, which we don't need to mess with. But the fact is, he's not protected by the by the normal doctrine of immunity, if he comes out from under, if you will, the tent, and he's acting on his own, then it's just like you or me doing what he did.
You know, Larry, this broadcast covers the entire country. Actually, it reaches out to the entire globe. And we have a caller from Philadelphia. Mark, welcome to USA Prepares with Larry Pratt and me, Vin Finelli.
Vincent, I'm glad you have Mr. Pratt on. This issue with you know, when it happens in the big city, it's bad. But when it happens in rural America, it's real bad because it's like I said, Vincent, the circles are smaller, people know each other, and for them to do this to one of their own that they would probably live next door to is absolutely ridiculous. But I want to bring to your attention, there's a firearms dealer there in Sparta who I had contacted before. Okay, I'll hold.
Yeah, okay. Mark from Philadelphia is with us. Larry Pratt, Executive Director of Gun Owners of America, is with us. And if you want to hear Larry Pratt at a live teleseminar at the Get Prepared Expo, he'll be there. Larry Pratt, Vin Finelli, Mark from Philadelphia. We'll be right back.
Yeah?
Did you want to see me, sir?
Well, I did, but now that I do, I'm not so sure.
Sir?
Johnson, I got a mission for you that could change your life.
Oh, good, sir.
It involves traveling halfway around the world without so much as half a clue of where you're going or what you're going to do when you get there.
Situation normal, sir?
Uh-huh. Well, I'll be leading this mission, Johnson, so I'll be telling you what to do.
You, sir?
That's right, Johnson, and I say first things first.
Oh, good plan, sir.
And what I say is first is food. Always remember that, Johnson. Food is a big deal.
Sir, my brother-in-law can give us a really good deal on some surplus MREs.
Johnson, if you've got half a brain and that empty head of yours, you'll call the freeze-dry guy like I did. That food is better for you, it rehydrates faster, and it's good, Johnson, and it keeps for up to 30 years.
Will we be gone that long, sir?
I hope not. Now get your supplies organized and meet me down to the pier at dawn on Sunday. We sail at sunrise.
Yes, sir.
This adventure is brought to you by the Freeze-Dry Guy. Call 866-404-3663 or visit freezedryguy.com.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com, and in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective, and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Class, Larry Pratt's with us. Mark is in Philadelphia. Mark, please stand by for just a second. Larry Pratt, Gun Owners of America. How do we become involved? What do we do? How do we become a member?
Very simple, Vinny. Go to the website gunowners.org, and once there, look for the Take Action bar to click, and then you can sign up for the free alerts that we send out, typically weekly, dealing with what's going on Capitol Hill. And in the alert, we embed an email that can be sent off very easily to the appropriate member of Congress. And even if somebody doesn't know their member of Congress's name, our system does. So it's really kind of foolproof, and it's had a tremendous amount of impact. It's what stopped the Toomey Mansion gun control bill following the Sandy Hook shooting. Even the NRA was supporting an expansion of the background check for all gun sales, private as well as in stores. And we were able to stop that because there were so many people on that list who sent in their own email that members of Congress actually, when we started, we would have lost that battle. But because there were so many people taking part in the process, we ended up defeating the measure.
Larry, let me ask you something publicly that I've asked you twice before on the air. Larry, I said that there may be a day when Vincent Finelli gets arrested, gets jailed, imprisoned, and I said, if I get taken out, will you ring the alarm to your 300,000 plus members of Gun Owners of America? What's the answer to that, Larry Pratt?
Well, actually, not only the 300,000 members, but the total of nearly 1 million supporters, which we affectionately have dubbed the Piers Morgan Memorial Email List, would find out about what had happened.
There you go. So my question is, are you coming to my rescue?
That would be the purpose of the email, which would be to focus some light on the cockroaches that would have gone after Vincent Finelli. And if that doesn't suffice, then we have lawyers. And, we don't use them frivolously, but there are times when you've got to.
Larry, I really appreciate it. And the reason I mentioned all this, class, is so that you know who we are. We speak out for the little guy. We speak out for honesty and integrity. And when it doesn't happen, we take action. And some of us pay a price. And I asked Larry Pratt, John Stadtmiller, and Sam Bushman if I get taken out, and Aaron Dakins, if they would come to my rescue and ring the alarm. And all said absolutely. You just heard it right here live on USA Prepares with Larry Pratt. Mark in Philly, you're back on.
Yes, what I'd like to share is that I'm new to the gun ownership thing, but the deal is I'm from Southern Missouri. Larry doesn't know that, but and I tried to help him with that firearms symposium when we were trying to get him to town, but he got snowed out a couple years ago. Anyway, I had been aware of this firearms dealer there in Sparta because it's not too far from Portland where some of my family lives, and I was trying to turn him on to a local dealer that seemed like he was an upstanding guy. Well, I've talked to him for a few times over the course of a year or so, and anyway, so I first person I know in Sparta was business was this guy, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I'd like to see what he has to say. So I call him, and he says, well, explain it. He says, yeah, Bob's one of my customers, and then I said, this is what happened to Bob. He says, well, what do you want me to do about it? And I said, well, I don't know that there's anything I want to do about it. Just helping you to be aware. He says, well, look, I got people standing in line. I got to take care of business. And and then he also mentioned that some of the officers were his customers as well. So this is outlandish, because if the dollar bill is going to take precedent over him taking care of his neighbor and looking out for one of his own, he doesn't need to be in business. That's how I feel about it. And so anyway.
Well, Mark, you just put an exclamation point on my post at usaprepares.com, where I put my real name and the situation with Bob Estep. Mark, thanks so much. I hope we're going to get a chance to see you at the Get Prepared Expo. Larry Pratt, it's always a pleasure being with you. Thanks for sharing your thoughts and insights.
Great to be with you. Thanks so much for having me.
And Larry, we're looking forward to you and me doing a presentation together on stage at the Get Prepared Expo in the last weekend of March in Lebanon, Missouri. Class, above all honesty and integrity, what happens next is up to you.